this up a little bit. There we go. All right, well, good afternoon, my crafty friends. How are you today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's quite nice here in Markham today. The sun is shining and we're actually way above normal temperatures, so that's nice. It's just beautiful out there. Anyways, let me see. I hope everybody's doing good. And let me see. So I'm trying to think of what else I can talk about. I'm just killing time waiting for it to show up on my iPad. And hopefully it will show up this week. It didn't last week, so hopefully it will this week. Hi, Jean. Glad you could join me. Thank you. All right, let's see. Oh, I don't understand why it doesn't come up. But anyways, oh, hang on. Let's see. All right, there I am. And I need I need my glasses off so that I can read the comments, but I need the glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Hi, Sharon. Glad you could join me. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's get started. A couple things I want to talk about. Okay, so there's my iPad's frozen again. So I just give up. I'm just going to keep talking. If it freezes, it freezes. I'm not going to worry about it. So, again, there's only 5 more days. You guys have posted nothing in my Judy's Paper Crafting community in the way of cards. So I don't know what's going on with you people. Hey, Rose, glad you could join me. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so I got nothing in there, you ladies. So what are you doing? You not making cards, or are you making cards using something other than Stampin' Up, which you're allowed to do? Okay. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down because I got some stuff I want to talk about, and I need to show you. So let me see if I can figure this out. All right. Ta-da! Turn that down. Oh, there's my iPad. Look at that. I can see myself. Okay. Oh, dear. All right. Okay. It's just the iPad lags behind a little bit. So, all right. Now I do have this up a little bit higher. So, all right. Jean made a comment. Was going to make a card this morning to post, but that never happened. So hopefully in the next couple of days. Well, hopefully, because that's about all you got left. You have till October 31st. So I believe it can be retired or current Stampin' Up product as long as it's Stampin' Up. And 3 colors, red, green, and white. Okay, pretty easy, really. Okay, so for those of you, just in case there's somebody on that doesn't know who I am, my name is Judy Menlove, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Markham, Ontario, Canada. And I can be reached at judyspapercrafts.stampinup.net. Okay, and if you want to place an order with me before the end of the month, you can use host code YM7RFSTG. Okay. All right. So before we get into today's stamping, I wanted to tell you about a new product that is going to be available in the upcoming catalog, the new mini catalog, which is not going to be effective until January 4th. However, as of November 2nd, which I believe is Tuesday, you can start to order this one product. So I'm just going to share it with you now, and I'll tell you why I'm sharing it with you in a minute. So this is called Eden's Garden. I'm going to pull this down for now until I get going a little bit more. There we go. Is black allowed to stamp the sentiment? Well, no. I said it had to be white, red, and green. Sorry, Jean, you'll have to stamp it in red or green. Okay. So anyways, it's called Eden's Garden. It has some lovely sentiments on it. Dear friend, how are you? My heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. Hello there. Sending hugs, and let's celebrate everything. And then it just has some, it's not really detailed. It's just, kind of, I don't know. I don't want to call them bushes. What are these called? little fern things type of thing. It's just kind of a flowery thing. Anyways, it's quite cute. I haven't stamped anything with it yet. I'm hoping to do that in the next few days. These are the dies that it comes with. I've seen some really fabulous cards already with this. So it comes with this little thing that you can stamp your sentiment on. So a little wreath. Let me take this off. Well, you can probably see it better on. And another little wreath and some leaves. That's the word I was trying to come up with, some leaves. These are leaves, and the word wouldn't come up with me. So anyway, these are the dies, okay? But what I really wanted to talk about was the paper, okay? So this paper is beautiful. I'm going to move this up a bit so you can really see it here, okay? So, and the reason I'm telling you about the paper is there's going to be the stamp set available, the dies available, the designer series paper, some cotton paper, and the gems, okay? So the designer series paper, the cotton paper, and the gems are only available while supplies last, okay? And I have a feeling this paper is going to fly off the shelves, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I want to show you the paper. It is, to me, stunning, okay? Every piece has got gold in it. All right, so this is just some gold leaves with the green. The colors are predominantly the evening evergreen and soft succulent. So basically everything is those two colors plus the gold and maybe some white. All right, so there's that one. And on the other side, it's just plain. It can be used for anything, and that's what I like about this paper. It's so pretty. All right, then we have this one with just some leaves and all the gold here. Look at that. It is just, I mean, it's beautiful. I love this paper. And on the other side, again, there's no gold, but again, you can use this with anything. This is more of the soft succulent and white. Then we have this one. This is white with the soft succulent, a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit, and the shading of the evening evergreen, and lots of the gold again. I'm hoping you can I'm hoping this is turning, you can see this really well in the gold. Okay. And on the other side, again, just a soft succulent and some white. And this one just has some little gold dots. It's really kind of cute. It's got, like, it's a smaller print, and I don't know if these little gold dots are even showing up. I can see them, but I'm trying to move the paper around here. So anyways, it's just little gold dots here and there. Just enough to make the paper sparkle. Okay. And this is on the other side. Okay. And again, this one, lots of the gold in this one. And again, it's a soft succulent. And you can see the gold in this really well. And just some evening evergreen and soft succulent and white speckles, which I love this as well. It's hard to decide which side I actually like better on this piece of paper. And then this one, I find this one really nice too. It's a soft succulent with some white and some speckles and the gold. Just so pretty. And that's the other side. All right, so that is that. So I wanted to show you that. This is the cotton paper. I'm just going to show you two pieces. So this is the soft, it just comes in the two colors. This is the soft succulent, and this is the evening evergreen. These are like almost like tissue paper. Okay, like if you look, you can kind of see my hand through this. All right. So it's, yeah, so it's kind of like tissue paper. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I got it, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So if you guys can come up with any brilliant ideas as to what I could do with that, that would be great. All right. So again, it comes into effect. No, you can start to order November 2nd. until January 3rd, and the new mini catalog will kick in January 4th. So don't worry about that yet, because that's a long way away, obviously. We have to get through Christmas and New Year's and everything else yet. But like I said, I have a feeling that DSP is going to just fly off the shelves. It's so, so pretty. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about with that. Today, we're going to be working on or playing with the Merriest Moments stamp set and dies and embossing folder. So this is a complete set. Now, it is $73.75, but you get everything for that, and you can make a ton of cards. So we're just going to kind of go through what this entails. So it comes with the Merriest frames. They call this a hybrid because it's not just a regular embossing folder. You can actually die cut with this as well. And I will show you how to do that in a few minutes. All right, so that's the embossing folder. This is the stamp set. Just want to make sure I'm still on camera. So this is the stamp set. I love the sentiments. A joyful Christmas to you and yours. Thinking of you this festive season. Joy. Together is the merriest place to be, and season's greetings. Now it comes with some little centers for the poinsettias, some berries, 3 different size leaves, some greenery. And other than the sentiments, and this, I don't know what, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what that is. It's just kind of like speckles. I thought maybe it might be snowflakes, but I think it's just kind of speckles. So anyway, so other than this and the sentiments, there are dies for everything that is in this stamp set. So I just cut these out just to show you. So these are the 2 poinsettias, and then there are some little poinsettias that are dies, but there's no stamp set to go with it. Okay, so these just cut out. I guess this is the little things that go in the middle of the flower, what are they called, stamens or something. 3 different size leaves and the greenery. Okay, plus. I move that out of the way. So these are the ones you get. All right, so I showed you everything except these bigger ones. So strong magnets. All right, so then we have this one that cuts a bunch of leaves. I'll show you that in a few minutes. We're going to play with this one today, so I'm going to take it off. We're going to play with this little rectangle that cuts, and it's stitched, so that's quite nice. Can you see the stitching there? And we're going to play with, again, it's stuck, with this one, which is an outline. All right, so let me put these to one side. And I will just show you some of the cards I made. Actually, once I started to make these, I had a great time. Okay, so when you cut the outline, which is this, okay, this is what you get. Okay, so what you do is you cut this and you emboss it. I have to show you because quite honestly, I looked at this and I thought, oh, this is great, but I have no idea what to do with it all. So I actually had to watch a couple of videos to figure it all out. So anyways, that's why I'm going to show you how to do it. So then I made this one. So this is the die all cut out. All right. And this is actually, this paper here is that new one I just showed you, the Eden's Garden paper. And I cut this in the gold. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me get it. Well, maybe I won't get it. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so this is the gold and rose metallic paper. This is really nice too. So there's the gold, and you can see how it's all shimmery, and there's the rose gold. So it's quite pretty. All right, so just in case you missed that in the catalog. So that's what I cut that out with, and then just put a little piece of the gold there. Okay. This one I went non-traditional colors and put some silver behind it and embossed it in the white and gave it a bit of, use that Tasteful Textile embossing folder just to give it a bit of texture here. Okay. And then I just stamped this and embossed it in the white. And this is almost basically the same thing, but in a different color. But really, they really don't look anything the same. And not only that, these cards were quite quick to put together. Okay. All right. And you can also cut out the frame, the outline, and then cut the middle out. And you could put a small photo in there. If you like to send photos with your Christmas cards, you could put a little photo in there. All right. So there are lots of options with this set. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. I'm going to get rid of my paper. So if there's a glare on here, I do apologize. So there's going to be some, oh wait. Anyways, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine. Let me get rid of that. And I'm going to move this up so that you can see everything I'm going to do. And it doesn't want to stay. There we go. Now I'll try and hide that dot there. Okay. Put this piece of paper over here to hide the glare from the light. All right, can you guys see okay, everything? I want to make sure you can see everything so you can see what I'm doing. That's about as good as I can go here. It's about as high as my thing goes. So, yeah, maybe I could turn it a little bit like that. There, that's better. And I'll just move, I'll just move that light. There, okay. Okay, so now hopefully I can remember how to do all of this. Okay, so first of all, here's your embossing folder. Okay, and we're going to take this piece here. This is the outline. And you're going to put it, all right, so this side has the Stampin' Up logo on it, and that's the side you're going to put it on. And you're going to put it with the cutting side up. I hope. I hope I'm doing this the right way. Okay, so because the inside of the embossing folder is raised, you can feel that it just slides right in. Okay, and we're going to take a piece of, oh, I don't know, we'll just take a piece of white. Now, you're going to need a whole quarter sheet, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you're going to need the whole sheet, and can you see okay? It barely covers. Okay, so see how even it sticks out a little bit here, but the cutting part is just inside there. So like I said, it just fits. And then you're going to fold this over. All right. And then you're going to take your 1 and 2 plate and 2 3 plate. No, I got that wrong. Okay, so this is where I get very confused. You're embossing. It's a 3D embossing folder. So even though you're cutting, it's still an embossing folder. Okay, so you're going to use your number 1 plate. I can't do anything about these lights. I do apologize unless I turn them off, which maybe I'll do. Yeah, that's the ceiling light anyways. Yeah, I'm just talking to myself now. Okay, so you're going to need the number 1 plate and the gray plate that I buried. Here it is. All right, so number 1, and then you're going to put the 3D embossing folder in, and then you're going to put the gray plate on top, okay? And then you're going to feed it through. And voila. Get rid of that. Okay, so it has cut out that. All right. Oh, let me get rid of this piece too. So this is basically just the outline, which is what I do with my cards. Da, 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 da. Oh, I don't know how I can just have them and lose them then. Okay. So this is the same as the white here. Okay. This is the outline. Okay. Like that. Then what you're going to do, I'm going to be a little slow with this because I really have to think it through. So we're just going to cut this. So you're going to need your number 1 plate and your 2 plate and 2 3s. And we're going to cut this in green. I'm just using whatever color, just so you guys can see. And again, this is cut to 5.5 by 4 1/4, and you can see that it just barely fits. Okay. And then you're just going to cut this the way you normally would. Put your 2 plate or your 3 plate on top, and we're going to feed that through. All right, so after you do this, all these pieces, and I'll tell you in a minute. So I'm just going to pull all this off. Okay, there's some little holes there that need to be poked out, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm just kind of trying to show you. So now you're going to take the embossing folder again. This is pretty the way it is. I hope this is showing up okay because I'm finding it kind of dark. There, it's a bit better. All right, so now you're going to take your embossing folder and you're going to put it, this piece that you just cut out, and you're going to put it in here and emboss it. Now, which way does it go? I have no idea. So we're just going to play with it until we figure it out. And I don't even know which side it goes on, but I will figure it out. Maybe. Maybe not. There we go. And you're just going to have to line this up as best you can. I'm kind of off camera a little bit, but... Okay, so I'm just... Actually, no, it might be better on this side. It fits in a little bit better on this side. Plus, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of an outline here. Okay, so you can kind of line it up a little bit easier on this side. So that is the non-Stampin' Up side. So just line that up as best you can. Fold that over. And remember, you always feed it through with the closed end going through. So we're going to emboss again. So we want number 1 and your gray plate. And we're going to feed that through. And now it's embossed. Plus, it comes with this cool raised center. Isn't that neat? Look at that. I love this. I love this stamp set and stuff. Okay, now is there one more thing I wanted to show you? Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm going to take a white piece and just the embossing folder. And we're just going to, and again, this is, I don't know what size this is. I still think this is 4 1/4 by 5.5, but we're going to cut this one down so it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then we're just going to feed this through, just a regular piece of cardstock. And you can use any color you want, obviously. And again, number 1 plate and number number 4 plate, the gray one. And we'll feed that through. And voila. Isn't that pretty? All right, so this one got chopped off, so I'm going to do this one again. So I'm going to try and make sure that I've kind of got it. Obviously, I just put it in, didn't line it up very good, so we're going to see if we can get most of it there and not chop as much off. All right. So again, number 1 and number 4. Okay, let's see if this one looks better. Yeah, that's better. So isn't that pretty? It's just, I just find that just so pretty. And then your big sentiment just goes in the middle. Like, oh, so easy. Okay, so I showed you how to cut everything. So let me get rid of this. And bring my paper back in so we don't get so much of a glare. And I'm going to sit back down. All right, so this one didn't cut very good, so he's done. Now, before I forget to tell you, some people have tried to take this piece and the embossing folder and cut at the same time, okay? It does not work, all right? So it has to be 2 steps. You have to cut first and then emboss, okay? Otherwise, it just doesn't cut. And then you're just kind of wasting your paper. It has been tried by many that I have seen, and they all recommend don't do it. Okay. All right. Any questions on any of that? Are you all clear as mud? Okay. All right. So let's make a card. So I've got a couple of cards kind of planned out here. So I have some thick basic white cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4, just a regular size card. Okay. And I'm going to use Poppy Parade because I wanted something that wasn't quite as strong as Real Red. So this has got more of an orange in it. I'm looking at this color on the on my iPad, and it actually looks quite orange, but it isn't as orange as it looks on the iPad. It is red. It's called Poppy Parade. It's just a nice soft kind of red color. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this on top, but I'm going to have to cut this. So if this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, this is 1/8 of an inch smaller, and this will be 1/8 of an inch smaller again, which means that this piece will be 4. And I'm just going to cut a little bit off on both sides to kind of even it up a little bit, because I want it to kind of be even. I don't want to cut off any of the embossing if I don't have to. I think that's probably it. Okay, so that's the 4, and we need to do 5 1/4. And again, I'm just going to kind of see, some of this is going to have to come off because it's too big. So, all right. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so everything is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. All right, so got my glue, And we're going to glue the red on. I have a brand new bottle of glue, so it comes out really fast. My other ones bit the dust. I had to throw it in the garbage. I like it actually when it's kind of empty a little bit because it doesn't come out as thick and as fast. Let me bring this one over here. There. Okay, and then we're going to glue this one on. And I don't know that there's a right way or a wrong way to put this on, so I'm just going to, I don't know if there's an upside down or not. I don't think there is, because they're just leaves. Okay, then I need a piece of paper, and I need a little stamping mat. So I'm just going to use this. All right, so we're going to stamp some leaves and a poinsettia, some greenery, and some bigger leaves. Okay, and again, because I didn't want this to be I want it to be a little softer, I'm going to also ink my poinsettias up in the Poppy Parade rather than real red. Okay. So we're just going to ink that one up, and we're going to ink the bigger one up. I don't know if you saw the video I posted the other day. This, when I first started to stamp it, you couldn't even see the white here. Let me pull this down. There, how's that? Oh, hi, Lori. How are you? All right, so you couldn't see how there's all these little white lines. So when I first did it, you couldn't even see those white lines. So as I said in the video, if you watched it the other day, I just took a piece of paper, a credit card, your bone folder. It won't come off the bone folder, though, if you do use your bone folder. And I just moved the ink to the ends and then stamped in the middle. And then I could see the white. I actually think I might even have one here. Let me just have a look-see here. All right, so here's one. Just bear with me a sec here. All right, so can you see the difference here? See how there's hardly any, I don't know, the lighting seems to be really icky now. Okay. So see how there's hardly any white? There's lots of red here, but you can hardly see those, the white stripes. So again, I just moved the ink. I don't even know. Can you even see that? There. Anyways, okay. So move the ink to one side, and then you'll get a clearer image. Now, because I didn't want to do a strong red, I didn't want to do a strong green either, so I went with the Granny Apple Green. And I cut out, so I want to do 2 big leaves. No, we don't like that one. 2 big leaves and 2 small leaves. Another small leaf down here. Okay, and then this Christmas tree, I call it a Christmas tree, kind of just a branch here. Okay, so that is everything we're going to use. And to speed things up for you, I have already die cut them. Da, da, da. Okay. So I'm just going to put these, I'm just going to kind of put some glue on this. And the reason you want to use glue is so that you can move it around a little bit. If it doesn't line up, you can turn it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side for now. And I'm going to take a couple of these big leaves, and again, I'm just going to kind of wing this. I'm going to put a bit of glue, and we'll just put them wherever you want. And I'm going to do this one. You have to be able to see. Let's turn this back over. Now I'm just going to kind of put it there like that. So put that there. And then I'm just going to put the smaller ones. Oh dear, way too much glue. Now I'll just take a little scrap piece of paper and wipe some of that off. That's why I don't like using new glue. And we'll just kind of put that one up there. And put that one there. And we'll just put that one up there. And they're still kind of wet, so I can still move them a little bit. Yeah, I think I'd rather just have it down a little bit like that. Okay. All right, so I need a sentiment. I took this piece, okay, this is the stitched rectangle that comes in that set, and cut it out in the white. And I'm going to stamp something on that. What will I stamp on it? Okay, maybe I'll stamp a joyful Christmas to you. No, I'll stamp thinking of you this festive season. Okay, I need a block. And my Poppy Parade. I'll ink that up. All right. Okay, so you have a choice now. You could lay it flat and put it in, but I'm going to pop that up. So I actually learned a neat trick the other day when I was watching someone's video. I have these foam adhesive sheets. Okay, I'm gonna move this up just a little bit here. Anyway, so I can, rather than using a bunch of dimensionals on something like this, I'm just going to give it kind of a quick measurement and cut it. And I'm using a pair of scissors that I'm always going to kind of use to cut this kind of thing. It's kind of like you have your fabric scissors, and you have your, I have my ribbon scissors that I only use to cut ribbon. So anyway, so it's double-sided, so it's just like the dimensionals, except it's a whole sheet. Okay, and we're just going to peel the back off. And we're going to just stick it on. I hope this is straight. Doesn't look very straight, and it's not going to come off either. So make sure when you do it, it's straight, because once it's down, it doesn't want to come off. Just fair warning. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, see if I can do this a bit better. That's better. That looks a little straighter. All right, and then I'm just going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And I just want to put the dimensionals at the top because I want them to kind of sit here like so. And this little piece, I'm going to put a couple of little mini dimensionals on here, and I just want to put it along the bottom like that. So I'm just going to put a little one there because the big one would be too big. A little one there. We'll pull the backs off. Yeah, we'll just put that there like so. And I'm using the Wonderful Gems. These come in the red and the, well, it says red, real red and clear, but the clear's got kind of gold flecks in it. So I'm going to put one of the gold flecks in the middle of my flower, like so. And then even though these are real red and I'm using Poppy Parade, I'm still going to use these. I'm just going to use the small ones. And I'll just put a couple on just to add a little something. And I'll put one up here. And I know we're only supposed to do odd numbers, but I feel like doing 4. So that's all I'm going to do. My card, I can do what I want. All right. So there's that one. Okay, Sharon, bye. All right. Okay. Sharon had to leave, so that's fine. Okay. And I'll do one other one, a quick one. This one's much quicker. So again, we're taking the 8.5 by 5.5 and scoring it at 4 1/4. And again, it's the thick basic white. I have a piece of real red. We're going to use real red this time. And I also have this one I really like. This is these flecks from that new paper. See, there's the gold there. Okay, but I'm going to use this side because I just like it. To me, it's kind of festive. Yeah, no, I just scribble all over the place. Gets my creativity going. I get to scribble all over this with the glue. Okay, so we're putting a piece of real red, and then we're going to put this piece on top. Oh, breaks my heart to not use the gold. But however. And we're just going to put that on top like that. Stay. And I'm going to use this green piece that I cut out already. Okay. And I also, before I glue it all down, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. And I'm just going to quickly, I actually am going to kind of go over the whole thing here because I want it to sparkle. So we're just going to take the Wink of Stella. If you don't have a Wink of Stella, you need to have a Wink of Stella. Everything looks better with Wink of Stella on it. And I'm just kind of covering everything. So Mike and I are taking our grandchildren to this light thing tonight. It's just up the road, and it's all decorated with all these Halloween lights, apparently. I don't know. I read it's supposed to be quite good. It takes roughly 25 minutes to drive through it. Obviously, you drive very slow. Anyways, I thought the boys might enjoy it, so that's what we're doing tonight. So I had to order the tickets, and, you know, then you show them through your windshield type of thing. So we're going at 7:30. I can't believe it's pitch black by then. So we're going at 7:30. That way the kids won't be too late. Although they're not going to school tomorrow because my daughter-in-law's father passed away, and the funeral is Friday, and the viewing is tomorrow. So the kids are going to the viewing and the funeral. So they're still not going to school, but I don't want them home too late anyways. So that's what I'm doing tonight. So it should be interesting. I'll let you know next week whether it was any good or not. And it's open until, I don't know, I think for 4 days after Halloween, but I didn't want to go after Halloween. It kind of, you know, defeated the purpose to me. Okay, then I'm going to take another one of these squares, these rectangles, pardon me. Okay, so again, we can pop this up, or we can put it, you know what? I'm going to put it flat, and I'm going to pop this whole thing up. So I need to stamp something on this one. I think I will do a Joyful Christmas on this one. Oh, wrong way. And I will do it in the real red because we're using the real red this time. There we go. Let me close this before I get it all over me. It's just a girl who dislikes glitter. Yes, you're so funny, Lori. I don't like glitter because it goes everywhere, but the Wink of Stella doesn't go everywhere, so I don't mind that. Yeah, I'm just gonna... I just want to make sure this is dry before I glue it on, but it will do. Come, glue. I'm just gonna lay this flat in here just so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to take that sheet again. And I'm going to cut this. And it's a little bit too big. Whoop. All right, so we're going to peel this off. Well, actually, I forgot it was going to go on this, but anyway, okay. So we're just going to pop this whole thing. Whoop. Now remember, it's unforgiving once you do it. That's it, it's stuck. All right, now I'm going to try and get this as straight as possible. That looks pretty good, hopefully. Okay, so there's that one. Now I'm going to use, what am I going to do? I'm going to stick this little, these little tiny poinsettia pieces, of which there's no stamp, just the, it's just the die that cuts them out. This glue always needs to be wiped off or it gets icky. There we go. That's probably going to be too big, too much glue, but there. And you're going to, again, you're going to want to offset it. I'm just holding it for a minute to get it to stay. And I can move it around still because it's not dry. And I'm just going to put that there. So I just need one dimensional. I'll just put him there like that. And I need my gems back. And I'm going to put a smaller one in the middle here. And we're going to use the bigger, I'm going to put one here. And then I think I'm going to put 3 little ones on the bottom here. So I'm just going to put, oh, maybe I'll put them in the middle, kind of. I don't know, one there. And maybe one beside it here. Oh. And one beside it here. There. All right. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you, so these are the cards we made today. And these are the cards I made the other day. Yeah, this gold one is quite pretty. This one I don't particularly care for. Again, this was just cut out. Is that this one? Yeah, this one. Yeah, just like this on its own, it doesn't do anything to me. But I don't mind it with the, like I said, the silver is underneath it. And then just this piece on top. So, and it's the same with this one. Okay, but just to put it on like that, I know the colors don't really do anything either, but I don't know, I just didn't like it. So anyways, we move this up so you can kind of see them all. Spread them out a little bit. So anyways, that is the Merry Moments set. I hope you really look into this, because this is a fun set. I mean, you can make these. So we have this type of card, we have this type of card, and we have this type of card. So there's different kinds of cards you can make, which, so it's, I mean, the set is very versatile. Oh yes. And then you can also make this one, which personally I don't care for, but you might, I don't know. This is not my taste. Oh, I can't see it. It's off camera. There. Okay. Any questions or anything? No? All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope everything went smooth. I hope the camera didn't get hung. I hope internet worked okay. And I will see you back here next Wednesday. You guys have a wonderful week. Keep stamping. And get those things, get those cards in my Judy's Paper Crafting community. I want to see some in there. Come on, people. You're running out of time. Yeah, look. See? Oh, that one. Yeah, this is just green and red and white. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that wouldn't be able to go. Wouldn't be able to put that one in there. This is green and red and white. That could go. This one is not. This one's green and red and white. That would have to go. But, yeah. So, it's not that difficult, especially when you're making Christmas cards. Green and red and white should be really easy. Anyways, I won't keep you any longer, so I hope you guys have a great week, and thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you next Wednesday. All right, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.